Hey, what's up? It's Symphony here. Subscribe to my brother Mr. Creepy as Hell channel, and when you're watching his videos,
make sure you stay in one piece.
Be very vigilant about who you hire to babysit your kids. My daughter Katrina, who was 6 at the time, nearly almost lost her life. She's good now, and I'm glad that I acted in time, but had I waited and done things different, I would have lost my daughter. My name is David, and I'm a single father. Katrina's mother is not in the picture, but that's a story for another day. I had a really high demanding job, and it did keep me away from my daughter for hours at a time. So I hired her a babysitter off of Craigslist. I came across a woman named Amanda, and she had a perfect 5-star rating. I saw nothing but good things said about this woman. So I messaged Amanda and told her that I was interested in her service. She replied back quickly, and I immediately hired her on the spot after messaging her. She came 2 days later into my household, and I introduced Amanda to Katrina. They seemed like they got along great, so I felt comfortable enough to let Amanda watch Katrina, even though I already hired her on the spot. But I see that my daughter and Amanda had good chemistry. I was really relieved that my daughter liked Amanda, because I was afraid if she didn't, I would have to search for another babysitter, and that's time that I don't have. For the next week, Amanda would come over and watch my daughter as I would go off to work. Everything seemed alright until that one evening when I came home. I walked in and Amanda seemed like she was off, like she was very tired and, irritable. I relieved her of her babysitting duties, and she thanked me and she left. I went to go see my daughter, and I noticed that my daughter was curled up crying. "Hey, what's going on? Why are you crying? Is everything okay, sweetheart?" I asked her, but she didn't respond to me. Instead, she got up and went into her bed and covered the sheets over herself. I put her to bed, and then I told her, "Well, sweetheart, if you don't want to tell me right now, you can always tell me later. I'll be here if you need to talk to me, okay?" She nodded her head yes, and then I tucked her in the bed, and I kissed her on her forehead and cut off the light, and I cracked the door just barely, that way she'd have a little light in her room. When I got up into my bedroom, as I was about to head off to sleep, I couldn't stop thinking about why Katrina was sobbing in the corner. I didn't really think too long about it. I started to drift off to sleep. The next morning, Amanda came over ready to watch Katrina again, but Katrina was not happy to see her. I knew something didn't feel right about this situation. Katrina's behavior was really off, and it was off-putting for her. "Katrina, it's gonna be okay, alright? You're gonna have a wonderful time with Amanda, alright? And when I come back, I tell you what, I'll take you to your favorite ice cream place, okay?" She nodded her head slowly, and after I got done talking to her and reassuring her that everything was gonna be okay, I looked into Amanda and I nodded my head. "Okay, I'm heading off to work. I'll see you later, Katrina. Be a good girl now, okay?" She nodded her head, and then Amanda replied with something that really made me raise my eyebrows. "Oh, don't worry, sir. Katrina's gonna be on her best behavior," Amanda said with this malicious grin. After I looked at her, I turned towards Katrina, and I saw that she was looking at me. Even though Katrina didn't talk much, it was something in her eyes that told me something. She was scared of something. So I left, and as I was driving off to work, I couldn't help but to wonder what was going on. I was thinking about how Amanda was smiling and how Katrina was crying the other day. And then, on top of that, the way Katrina was acting this morning, something was really off. So I decided to call in and tell my boss that I wasn't going to make it and that something came up. After that, I drove near my house, but I parked it off in the distance because I wanted to sneak back up to see what was going on. I walked it to my house, And when I did, I heard something that horrified me. And I am so glad to this day I came back to the house. I heard my daughter crying super loud. I waited for a second to see what was going on and seeing what Amanda's response was. But what Amanda said gave me chills, and I had to run in immediately and get my daughter. If you don't stop fucking crying, I'm gonna duct tape your mouth. Keep it up, little girl. Keep it up. I don't have time to watch you. I don't want to do shit with you. I just want to sit down and watch TV. You run your fucking mouth too much. You're always complaining and complaining. Shut up, Katrina. I looked through the window in the living room where the blinds were sort of cracked enough where I could see. And what I saw made me want to get sick. Amanda had my little girl duct taped to a chair with her hands tied up and her foot tied up. The minute I saw this, I was enraged. I busted open the front door and ran towards Katrina, tearing off the duct tape. After I'd done that, I grabbed her and I held her in my arms while she was sobbing. I looked at Amanda and I called 911. After I got off the phone with 911, Amanda kept on trying to explain herself. Look, sir, you got it all wrong. That's not what was going on. We were playing. Shut up! You were trying to harm my daughter. I scoffed at her. After that, she tried to make a run for it. But before she can even leave out of the front door, the officers came and they stopped her. And they arrested her. Apparently, from what I was told, based off of what Katrina said, Amanda would hit Katrina. And she would grab objects around the house and hit her on the foot with it. She was doing all sorts of things to Katrina. This made me really mad, and I was so glad that the cops were arresting her. Not only that, but there was a grim discovery as well. Apparently, the reviews that were on her Craigslist page about her being a good babysitter were all fake. Apparently, she made about 50 Craigslist accounts posing as different people and trying to make herself seem like she was this wonderful babysitter, but in reality, she was a monster. And this monster almost killed my daughter. I'm so glad that I stepped in and was able to save my daughter. There was no telling what was going to happen if I had waited too long, or if I hadn't noticed quickly. My daughter could have been dead. I'm happy to say, though, Amanda is serving about 25 years in prison. Even though that may not seem like a long time, but it's better than nothing. And once she does get out, I'm going to make sure I file a restraining order against her to make sure she doesn't come nowhere near me or my precious daughter.